Hi, everyone that just joined. We're going to start class in a second. Currently, Amin is having some technology difficulties, so once he turns on his camera and finds a way to fix his stuff, we're probably gonna get started. So yeah. Okay, since Amin is muted and is unable to talk, I guess I can give a little bit of preview for today. So for today, we have a lot of stuff, a lot of content planned, but it mainly focuses around building a specific program, which is a model calculator. So we're going to be combining everything that we learned so far in this class to make a calculator that must have at least four operations. So operation as in including, but not limited to dividing, times, minus, plus, or equals. Um, and it must accept user input. We're going to utilize typecasting and utilize conditional statements. So we're also planning on, if we do have any extra time, we're gonna run through a bit of loops, a bit of for blank and blank, like that type of loop, if you guys know, and also the while loop, which runs a block of code while a condition holds true. So it's kind of like a conditional, except super useful, I guess. And yeah, we just gotta wait for Ottman to figure this thing out. So
Okay, so my camera isn't working, guys, so I'm just gonna present with my camera off. But like Gavin said, we have a project that's planned for you guys. It essentially serves as like a midterm project. So there are a few requirements that I want to I guess, introduce them to you. So yeah, so he probably already introduced you to the agenda. So we're gonna be utilizing most of the class time today to work on our project. But if we do reach like an unusual consensus to stop work time for the day, we'll move on to loops and other like we're gonna just introduce guys to the like foundations of other topics. So here are some important guidelines for a project that you guys should know. So your calculator must have at least four operations. So it could be the basic four, like multiplication, division, subtraction, addition, or it could be any other four that you could find. So it may be, for example, absolute value you could do square root, you could uh even do functions that come with a math module, et cetera, et cetera. But it must have at least four operations. If you feel the need to go above and beyond and maybe do more than four operations, then perfect. You're putting your knowledge to the test. Um, so yeah, but make sure you want to at least have the minimum of four operations. The next thing is that your calculator must accept user input. So it shouldn't be that your program or put like it beforehand it already defines certain integers or floats. Um, it should accept user input, so it should be your numbers, your floats. So in that case, when you're accepting user input in your program for your two numbers, or maybe even three numbers if you wish to do three numbers, just remember to typecast those user input variables. Because like we've talked about and like we've discussed previously, user input always outputs a string. So you want to make sure you can typecast that into a float or an integer, and make sure to typecast it to a float specifically. And then finally, your calculator must utilize conditional statements. So we've already talked about basic, if statement, elif statement, or sorry, else if statement, and then the else statement. So kind of in that way, make sure to use those conditional statements. Um, and if you're confused on where to apply these conditional statements, don't worry. On the next slide, or I guess moving forward, Gavin will show you guys a quick demo on how a Python calculator should typically look like and how it should be structured. So no need to worry if you don't understand where conditional statements need to be applied in your program. But these are the, I guess, three or four basic guidelines for a calculator that it should be evident when you are constructing your program. So if we do have um if you do have any questions in the chat, please let me know. Otherwise, we can move on to the demonstration Gavin has planned that kind of just shows the calculator. Or everyone
Yeah,
can just leave a
so
thumbs up.
yeah. Okay. So I have a like a model calculator planned just to show you guys like how it should look. Maybe don't like completely copy it, but um this is like kind of how it should look. So ignore the comments, I guess. They don't really matter, but it's a beginner-friendly calculator that includes the four basic math operations, including addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Um, it doesn't use loops or functions on purpose, and it's just simple step-by-step Python that runs from top to bottom. So basically, the general idea is I remember when we made this simple calculator, we used two numbers and then we either use addition or subtraction for our operations. It's the same kind of idea here. So we're going to have a variable set to number one and take the input of the first number. And then we're going to ask the user what type of operation they want, whether it's addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division. And then we're going to set operator. We're going to set a variable to operator. And we're going to input the user and ask them what type of operator they want. Okay. Next, we get our second number as we need to use two numbers for each type of operator. If you're using like different operators such as like squared, sometimes you don't need a second number. So you're gonna have to configure that if you want to use like different operators. But I guess I would just recommend you guys use the basic four, which is addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. And then we have our conditional statements where if the operator equals to any of these different operators, we will have a variable named result and set to the product or depending on what operator you choose, basically the answer to the two numbers, right? If it's addition, it'll take the sum of the two numbers that you input. If it's subtraction, it'll take the difference, multiplication, product, division. Okay. And then if like the user types something that isn't one of the four operators, the result will be just be equal to error. This is not a valid operator, right? So now we're going to be utilizing f strings to print the final result, where we're just going to print this operator, second number, is equal to result. Okay, so that's the basic gist of it. And we're going to be taking a lot of class time today and like the next chunk of class time just to be try to do this calculator, make it out. I'll keep the requirements on screen, I suppose. Um, okay, yeah. So these are the basic guidelines. Feel free to edit them in any way that you want. Okay. So we're gonna take the next chunk of class just making this calculator project. And we should eventually have a submission for it in the Google Classroom. Oh, you're not supposed to copy the text. You're low-key supposed to make one yourself. So we're just gonna make a basic calculator. that has at least four operations, accepts user input, and utilizes conditional statements. So yeah, that was kind of a demo. Like I don't really want to put up screen because then it incentivizes kids to like copy. But maybe at the end of work time, I will post it because if you're confused and don't feel comfortable asking us, so you can just copy it off. So I think we'll eventually have a resources page. Okay. Um, so we have someone that has come to only two, three classes. So I think what's gonna happen is okay. Um okay, so the rest of class, I think, or the rest of everyone in class, I think everyone should take time to try to make the calculator on screen. And then I think me and Amin have to help the person that only came to two or three classes because they're probably very confused. So, Amin, if you have anything. Amin, Vishroot has only come to two or three classes, so they're very confused.
We could maybe create a breakout room if we want.
Yeah, okay. Why don't you just create a breakout room and then
All right.
help
Yeah.
him? And then I'll just, if you guys have any questions, feel free to post in the chat or just ask me directly about this calculator because I know it can be kind of confusing. So yeah. So yeah, we're gonna take the next chunk of class, just doing this calculator. It should take a while. And if you guys have any questions, just ask. Oh, and at the end, do kind of like I want to make sure that you guys are spending your time being productive and actually like doing the assignment. So I would hope for you guys to like send in chat the calculator. If you guys don't really know like how it works, that's totally fine. But um, or like at least send like what it does. Like you don't have to send the code, I guess, but I want to make sure you guys are being productive because we are giving you a lot of class time to do this. So. Okay, guys. I'm gonna go check that Atman and Vishru because he may need help from me. So I'm gonna make sure that they're doing good. But I'm gonna paste the guidelines in chat and make sure to be on track in trying to make your calculator. So yeah. Oh, and by the way, I've gotten like a lot of requests for my Gmail account about requesting to share the homework. You guys are actually supposed to like just make a copy and then like write down the answer to the homework like based on the instructions given. So sorry if that wasn't like clear before, but yeah. right now we're giving people a lot of class time to try to make the calculator. So that's what everybody in the main breakout in the main room, I should say, is doing. Um, so yeah, that's what we're currently doing. Uh, Me, Atman, and Vishu are just in a breakout room because uh they're they're a bit confused on uh class since they haven't been here. So yeah, that's about it. Just try to make a Python calculator. I can send you the requirements that are needed just to give you kind of like a guideline on what to do, if that makes sense. Um, Sorry. Okay. Okay, so I sent you the four different guidelines that you need based on the calculator. I think we need probably go back to the normal room. So Amin, if you can just sort out um and help Bishru, that'd be great. Okay.
Yeah, it should be very quick too. So
Okay. I don't know if he'll fully understand by the end, but
yeah,
it should be enough, hopefully.
I'll try. Maybe I don't know because I don't have any demos planned. I could try
How
making some.
how do I
I
leave
have
the
a question.
project?
Like,
Yeah,
is there like a like I did is this since it's like things being recorded, like is it like posted somewhere so I could like watch maybe?
yeah. So we have a YouTube channel. It's called Matt X.
All right, guys, make sure to be making the calculator based on these guidelines. I did kind of show you guys a model, but you probably shouldn't be copying it. It'd probably be better for you guys to make your own. It's not that hard. It'll be pretty simple if you guys just spend some time on it. So yeah.